Hello, hello. We are going to add and subtract expressions today. Now, I will tell you, for this to make sense and for you to really be successful in this section, you need to already know the terminology that I'm going to be using. So when I'm saying term or coefficient, constant, variable, like terms, those should already make sense to you. You should already know how to simplify expressions by combining like terms, and you should already know how to use the distributive property. I'm going to be using all of those with the assumption that you already understand them. So if you haven't learned those yet, or they're still just not quite making sense, I have a distributive property video and a simplifying expressions video that I would really, really recommend you watch before continuing on with this one. Okay, you can find both of those on my YouTube channel, Math with Luker. Okay, so when we're adding expressions, if there's no number attached to the parentheses that would require you to use the distributive property, then honestly, those parentheses don't really even matter. So on this first one here, I have nothing that's in front of this set of parentheses. I have nothing in front of this set of parentheses. So just sort of overlook them, ignore them, because you're not going to need them. So let's put our like terms together. I've got a 3x and an x. So altogether, that's 4x. I've got a positive 4y and a minus 2y. When you combine those, that's a positive 2y. Your answer should be left just like that. There's nothing more that you can do with it. On the next one, let me adjust my pen. That's bothering me. Again, I have nothing in front of these parentheses. I have nothing in front of these parentheses, so I don't need to do the distributive. So I'm just going to sort of pretend like they're not there and put my like terms together. Here's a negative a or a negative 1a. And a positive a, a positive 1a. Negative 1 and positive 1 are opposites. So when you put them together, you get 0, right? Opposites cancel each other out. I don't want to put 0a. If there's none of them, then they wouldn't even be in our answer. So my a's just drop out. They're gone. I'm not going to have that in my simplified expression for my answer. For my b's, I have a positive 8b minus 1b. 8 take away 1 leaves me with 7 B's. And then I've got this positive 5C, nothing to put with it, so I just stick him in the answer, plus 5C. And again, don't do anything else with it. Unless I'm given more information, I can't do anything else. That is my answer. Okay, so that's the first of 4 little parts within the section. I would really encourage you right now to hit pause on the video, try these 2 problems, and then resume the video, and we'll see if your answer matches my answer. Okay? All right, hopefully you did that. There's nothing attached to my parentheses, so I don't need to do the distributive. I'm going to put 10m with 7m, and altogether that would be 17m. I'm going to put positive 2n with negative 12n, and that would give me negative or minus 10n. 17m minus 10n. On number 2, let's see the a's. 25 and 5 more would be 30a. On the b's, I have plus 10 and minus 10. Those are opposites. They drop out. Sometimes that just happens. So no b's in my answer. But then I have minus c. Nothing to put with him, so just put him in your answer. 30a minus c. So those were when we did not have a number attached to parentheses, but sometimes you will. So on these problems, you've got a number that's outside of at least one pair of the parentheses. So you need to do your rainbows first. You need to do your distributive. So I've got my mailman outside, right? The parentheses represent the neighborhood, and each term inside represents a house in the neighborhood. So he's going to distribute mail to each house. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times positive 3 is positive 12. Same thing over here. I've got a positive 2 for my mailman. Inside this neighborhood, I have an 8x and a minus 1. So he's going to distribute mail to each house inside that neighborhood. Positive 2 times 8x is positive 16x. Positive 2 times negative 1 is a negative or a minus 2. Then you need to simplify. Put your like terms together. 4x can go with positive 16x, and that gives us 20x. Positive 12 can go with minus 2, and that gives us positive 10. 20x plus 10. On this next one, I don't have anything attached to the first set of parentheses, but I do have this positive 6 attached to the second set. So there's my mailman. Here's the 2 houses inside the neighborhood. I'm going to distribute mail to each house. The first set of parentheses don't really even matter. It's like the first problems that we did in this video. It's just a 4x plus 2y. It's just to say, hey, look at me. I'm an expression. Then I'm going to do positive 6 times x. That's positive 6x. Positive 6 times negative y. Well, my signs are different, so that's going to be a negative 6y. Put your like terms together. 4x and positive 6x gives me 10x. 2y and negative 6y gives me negative or minus 4y. Okay, so that's the end of the second part. Let's go ahead and try this again. I'd like for you to do these 2 problems. So I would really recommend that you hit pause on the video, give them a shot, and then resume the video and see if we match. Okay. So on the first one, I don't have anything attached to the second set of parentheses. So I really just need to deal with this 7. So here's my mailman. Here's a house. Here's a house. Distribute to each house in the neighborhood. 7 times A is 7A. 7 times positive 2B is positive 14B. And then over here, I've got a positive A and I've got a minus 4B because I didn't have to do the distributive there. Like terms, 7A plus A is 8A. And then 14B minus 4B is a positive 10B. 8A plus 10B. Second problem, I need to do the distributive on the first part, and I need to do the distributive on the second part. So rainbow, rainbow, distribute your mail. 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times a negative 3 is a negative or minus 15. Positive 2 times x is positive 2x. Positive 2 times positive 1 is positive 2. And x can go with an x. So I have 10 and positive 2. That's 12x. And then my constants can go together. I've got minus 15 and positive 2. That would be minus 13 on the constants. So 12x minus 13. Moving on to subtraction. It looks very similar, but with these, every problem is like having the distributive. When you subtract, you're not just subtracting that first term. You're subtracting both terms that are in the second set of parentheses. So it's really like it's telling you, change my sign, change my sign. Or think of it this way. If you don't see a number in front of a variable, it's like there's a 1, right? So if you don't see a number in front of parentheses, it's like there's a 1. So this is like having a negative 1 attached. And then you would distribute the negative 1 to each term inside. So on this first problem, there's nothing attached to the first parentheses. So I'm going to leave that as 4t plus 2u. Over here, I need to distribute that negative sign. I remember I said you can think of it as distributing a negative 1. But inside, I've got a t, a positive t, and I've got a negative u. Change my sign, change my sign. Or negative 1 times t and negative 1 times negative u. That's going to become a negative t or negative 1t is the same thing. And then that's going to change to a positive u or positive 1u. You can write it either way. Like terms, 4t minus t leaves us with 3t. 2u plus u gives us 3 positive or plus 3u. Okay, same thing on the next one. The first set of parentheses aren't telling me anything because there's nothing attached. So that just tells me 9h plus j. But over here, I need to distribute this negative. I need to change the sign, because I'm subtracting both of those terms, not just the first one. Think of it as distributing a -1 times -h and a -1 times +2. -1 times -h, or change the sign, that becomes a +h. -1 times +2j, or change the sign, that becomes a -2j. 9h plus h is 10h. Plus j minus 2j would be a -1j, or just minus j. It's the same thing. You can write it either way. Okay, so pause number 3 here. Try these and then resume the video and we'll see if we match. Just make sure, the common mistake is like on this first one to make it say -r, but then forget to do anything with the s. It's still like the distributive, rainbow, rainbow with that negative sign. Okay, give them a shot and then hit play back on the video and we'll see if we get the same answer. So on the first one, nothing in front of the parentheses, just leaves me with the 7r minus 7s, just like it says. I'm going to change the sign. So that's going to become a -r and a -s since they were positive in the beginning. 7r minus r is 6r. Minus 7s minus s is -8s. Okay. On the next one, the c plus 4d is going to remain c plus 4d. So on the first problem there, I just said change the sign. Let's shift thinking and let's look at this one as distributing a -1 in case some of you see it better that way. So I'm going to multiply. And inside, this is a house. That negative stays with the 2d. -1 times c is -1c, or just minus c. -1 times -2d is positive 2d. C minus c. If I have one and I give it away, I don't have any c's left. Those are gone. Bye-bye. And then I've got positive 4d, positive 2d. All I have in my final expression is 6d. All right. Fourth of the 4 parts here. Combination of everything. Distributive and with the minus sign. These are the most missed problems in this section because on that second set of parentheses, it's not just a 2 that's attached. It's a -2. I've been saying it all year. A minus sign and a negative sign can represent the same thing. So I always have students who get so mad because they'll say, I thought it was a minus. And I'll say, yep, but you said negative. Yep, because they're interchangeable, really. So on this first problem, I have a positive 3 outside. I have an x and a positive 4y inside. I always include this sign with the number or the term that comes after it. Distribute, rainbow, rainbow. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times positive 4y is positive 12y. Okay, here's where you've got to be really careful. I have a -2 outside. Inside, I've got an x, and I've got a positive y, rainbow, rainbow. -2 times x is -2x. -2 times positive y is negative or -2y. Put your x's together, like terms. 3x minus 2x leaves me with 1x, or just x, either way. 12y, positive 12y minus 2y leaves me with positive 10y. Okay, second problem. Nothing attached to the first set of parentheses, so that's just 8a minus 4b like it shows now. Second set of parentheses, I have a -3 attached. Inside, I have a 2a and a minus or a -2b. Distribute, rainbow, rainbow. -3 times 2a is -6a Be careful here. Negative 3 times negative 2b is positive 6b. Like terms, 8a minus 6a leaves me with 2a. Minus 4b and positive 6b, put those together, you get positive 2b. Okay, last time. Pause the video, try those, and then resume, and hopefully we will match. Problem number 1, there's nothing attached to the first set of parentheses, so I'm going to leave that as 6f plus 2g. Second set of parentheses, I have a negative 5 attached. Inside, I've got a positive f and a positive g, rainbow, rainbow. Negative 5 times f is negative 5f. Negative 5 times g is minus or negative 5g. Like terms, 6f minus 5f is 1f, or just f. Positive 2g minus 5g is minus 3g. And then the last one, the x minus 9y is just x minus 9y. Second set of parentheses, I have a negative 4 attached. Inside, I have a negative 2x and a negative 5y. Distribute to each of those houses. Negative 4 times negative 2x is positive 8x. Negative 4 times negative 5y is positive 20y. Like terms, x and 8x would be 9x. Negative 9y and positive 20y would be positive 11y. How'd you do on those? Those were tough. So if you got them, be very proud of yourself. If you didn't, maybe back up the video a little bit and watch just this last section again. I know those are the hardest out of the whole thing. Okay, so as always, thanks for sticking it out through the whole video. Hopefully that helped you. My students, please continue to check Canvas for extra credit opportunities, for your normal homework, for optional Google Meets where I can help you additionally with things like this. Email me, send me a message through Canvas. You've got my Google Voice info. People who are not my students and just happen to come across this video, I do have several more. It's just based on everything that I'm teaching in my 7th grade math classes. My channel's Luger's Math Class. But if you got anything out of this, that's exciting. Thanks so much for listening. See you next time. Bye.